It's going to be Zachary Keeney on Azorius, the Abuelo's Awakening Omniscience combo, up against Tyler Geist, who has the coolest surname in the room, I'm just saying, on Dimir Midrange. Now, Dimir Midrange, I don't think we've seen that on camera just yet. And this deck looks like it's a couple of iterations late to the party, yet it's still doing really well.
Yeah, so interesting. This is basically the deck that was really popular, and I played it along with some of my teammates at the World Championship way back in October of last year. Yeah, so it's almost like things have come full circle, right? Yeah. It went a little bit out of fashion when everyone was so excited about This Town Ain't Big Enough and those sort of bounce style decks. But now it's just back to the classics, right? The individual card quality, the nice black removal, enduring curiosity to get ahead and drop the hammer once you can develop some board presence. So I like it, and I got to imagine this is one of the matchups where it's relatively well set up between the black discard spells like the Deep Cavern Bat we're seeing, as well as the blue permission spells to supplement.
So kicking things off here, real nice curve going Spyglass Siren into Deep Cavern Bats. On the other side of things, we have Founding the Third Path, which is one of the ways that this deck is looking to win by/with. I still don't entirely understand how this combo works. I know you get Omniscience out and then you do a whole bunch of other things that eventually mills your opponent, maybe, but yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, you've got the essence of it. It's basically you get Omniscience into play, and then a lot of really bad things happen for your opponent, and you know the rest is fairly academic at that point. But
that's a quote for the weekend.
Yeah, the actual killing blow has evolved over time. Folks are streamlining it as much as possible, reducing the number of slots that have to be devoted to win conditions. But yeah, that you can, if you ever have to face the Omniscience deck for the first time, you can sort of shortcut it as like, do not let them get Omniscience into play, because there's it's going to end badly for you one way or another.
So all of the small critters taken care of by temporary lockdown, and a Deep Cavern Bats to follow up there for Tyler Geist. Zachary Keeney, though, doesn't care too much about losing another card from hand because, well, stock up is just going to restock.
Yeah, as a black discard spell player, that's sort of the nightmare hand that you can see when you play a discard spell or Deep Cavern Bat at Duress, is when they just have redundant card drawing. Yeah. It's like, okay, whatever I pick, they still get to spend their mana, and then the next time we check in, they're going to have a whole new hand of cards anyway. So kind of the redundancy of Zachary's hand and game plan proving pretty effective here.
And on the other side of things, pretty fair magic for Tyler. I have this 3-drop, missing a couple land drops, speaking of those. But Preacher of the Schism hits the board now and can hopefully take advantage of the different modes on it. Unless Zachary just decides, nah, I'm going to kill that. That's possible.
We did mention, Ailey, Omniscience is our second most played deck in the field after the Boogeyman of the Is It Prowess deck. But the really great thing about this Omniscience deck is it's sort of a hybridized strategy where, it can get that quick turn 4 kill where you bin Omniscience, you bring it back with Abuelo's Awakening, you combo off. But in the meantime, it can also just play as an Azorius control deck, like temporary lockdown, taking out your opponent's first 2 threats, multiple copies of stock up to keep the gas flowing. So, Tyler has to worry about the combo and not leave the shields down if possible, sideboard against it, bring in the graveyard hate. But in the meantime, Zachary's could just go, hey, I'm fine to play a fair and square game of Magic and
doing a good job of it.
Develop my hand and my game plan in that way.
Yeah. Preacher of the Schism was taken out there with Get Lost, but his backup has arrived. A second copy of Preacher. Still no 4th land here for Tyler. And as this game goes on, Zachary's just going to get more and more card advantage, more and more mana to do stuff, and Tyler is not going to be able to do anything.
Well, he's going to untap with a Preacher of the Schism, which is the most traction he's been able to get so far in the game. He'll get to draw a card, hopefully hit that 4th land drop, and then we'll see. But Zachary, with the high life total at this stage in the game, many more lands on the battlefield. We know he just freed up a stock up from the Deep Cavern Bat. So gotta like Zachary's position, though the game is not necessarily close to over yet.
Oh, no. This one's going to go a while. There's no red stuff involved, you know?
For the first time in our feature match area, the color red is not represented.
No. Go Esper colors. So, hello. Sheldred's here. Speaking of cards that kind of fell out of favor, this one was everywhere at one point, and then nowhere at all to be seen, as this poor preacher cannot stick on the board.
I have a theory about Sheldred the Apocalypse, and it's exactly what you said, where she falls out of favor. People get sick of it, and she's like been around a long time. Everyone's excited to try the new cards whenever a set comes out. I think maybe Sheldred's just been the best thing you can be doing the whole time.
Oh, I love that version too, the Phyrexian one.
Yep.
Good taste, Tyler. Yeah, it's such a, I don't want to say dirty, but you do feel dirty playing Sheldred. Because it's just like, yes, draw cards. Draw all the cards. Stock up, though, doesn't do that. So, unfortunately, no dings for Sheldred. But when she's on the board, you will definitely take note of your cards. And if they say put or draw, big difference.
Just one of the many sort of secret benefits of stock up is not triggering Sheldred. But here, Zachary's going to take 4 off the Dragonstorm. But he does get to bin Omniscience setting up. This is getting dicey, though. I mean, either player is potentially 1 or 2 cards away from being killed. Like Zachary's going to get knocked down to 7, facing the prospect of another 2 damage in his draw step. Tyler, on the other hand, has to worry, hey, Zachary's seen half his deck at this point, 1 Abuelo's Awakening, and I could be done for.
Yeah, and he doesn't really have all that much to deal with Sheldred. As far as dispersals, there's 3 of them, and only 1 get lost. There is the Meringue River region, but that's just all temporary answers to Madame Sheldred, as we do see Anafar's dispersal, sending that back to hand. So, Enduring Curiosity doesn't get the card off of Sheldred making contact, but at least the cat sticks around.
Okay, so I predict here we're going to see Abuelo's Awakening. And Zachary there makes his first play Omniscience, which is crucial because the 1 interactive card Tyler could have at this point would be cut down to destroy the 1/1 Spirit and possibly give Zach a hard time. But with the redundant copy of Omniscience, there's almost no way that anything can fail to go right for Zachary.
Oh, gosh.
It's just going to be... Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a scenario where your top 10 cards are all lands, but for the most part, you just always see the Omniscience player win from this position.
Then you could just blame the shuffler, right, if that's the case.
Right.
And we see Meringue River region hit the board for free. Then we have another Roiling Dragonstorm just to refill the hand, grab more stuff, chuck whatever you don't need, and, choo-choo goes the train. Meringue River region, that is another absolute powerhouse from Tarkir Dragonstorm.
So what's happening here, you might ask? Zachary bounced his own temporary lockdown to his hand, which freed up 2 Roiling Dragonstorms. That's what he's excited about. But in the meantime, Tyler gets to use the Deep Cavern Bat. So the player's just going through the motions here, but make no mistake, Zachary is basically going to win this game.
Yeah.
Here's a River Regent, which will automatically bounce the 2 Roiling Dragonstorms. He can bounce his other River Regent, and that's all she wrote.
That's pretty powerful stuff there from this list. Again, not really caring all too much about what the opponents are doing, so long as keep your life total high, get the 2 cards you need, and off to the races you go. So sideboarding time now. What does Tyler need to do here to get a victory here in game number 2?
The good news, if you're a fan of Tyler, is his sideboard is excellent for this matchup. Look, 2 Disdainful Stroke, 3 Duress, 1 Urtai Resurrected, even Fairy Mastermind, Tishana's Tidebinder, Kaito improving the ability to operate at instant speed and make Zachary's permission spells awkward. So Tyler's gonna really be able to configure his deck in a way that it's hateful for the combo deck and put the squeeze on Zachary. So it's going to be competitive. Zachary, of course, you know, taking the first game, that is a massive advantage going into a best 2 out of 3 set. But Tyler's sideboard, I think, is going to make some moves towards equalizing the playing field.
Awesome sauce. And then from Zachary's side, any major changes there?
One of the other advantages of Dimir Midrange in this matchup and many others is that it's more difficult to sideboard when you're facing a well-balanced sort of card quality-based deck like Dimir. When you go against Azorius Omniscience, it's obvious. It's like, okay, anything that counters a spell, anything that attacks the graveyard, you know, duress, those are all just slam dunks. They're so good in the matchup. Whereas when you face Dimir, it's like, okay, well, I guess I want a little of everything. You know, if Aura's Dispersal is not a great card, but it might be necessary if I want to keep my head above water. So Temporary Lockdown gets some of their early aggression, but it doesn't get everything. So Zachary has the more challenging task of building a well-balanced configuration where he's going to be prepared for everything, whereas Tyler has the easier sideboarding where he can basically just stack rank his cards of how good or bad they are in the matchup and go with that. It
kind of feels like when players would have to sideboard against Rakdos Midrange from a couple years back, because again it was all just like good stuff .deck, you know, no exact clear answer as to what you should bring in, what should come out. So yeah, lots of decisions there to be made about the sideboard, and lots of decisions to be made for you, friends, because there's a flash sale happening this weekend alongside the regional championship. So if you would like to get 10% off of select singles, go and check out what StarCityGames.com has to offer. Go and pick up stuff from the latest set because Target Dragon Storm is awesome. Go grab some staples for whichever format you want to play in, and, you know, maybe come and hang out with us at the next regional championships / Spotlight Series. It is kind of cool that this deck has just kind of gone full circle. It's like, whoop, okay, we're back now. I mean, the most notable inclusion, I don't think it has anything from the new set. It's, yeah. Maybe, no, no, nothing.
One Spell Pierce from Ether Drift is about as much as you're going to get in the way of new innovation. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Enduring Curiosity is one of my favorite cards from Duskmourn. Not just because it's a cat, but, you know, that helps.
Preacher of the Schism, we can note, has become a very desirable card in Dimir Midrange, Mono Black Demons, even some Orzhov decks, Golgari, whatever it might be. It just matches up well for toughness against most of the removal being, well, either cut down if you're facing a black deck, or the various red burn spells that just cannot get that off the battlefield. So it's become a pretty nice 4 of sort of metagame choice in Dimir, whereas you might have seen it either not appearing or being split with some other 3-drop options in the past. Yep.
Spyglass Siren kicking things off here for Tyler into game 2. Both players undefeated currently and would like to remain so. As Deep Cavern Bats, wow, deja vu. Gonna take a look at the hand and nab something nasty out of there. I'm guessing Temporary Lockdown's getting got. That's a River Regent on the end there.
Well, Temporary Lockdown's a really appealing choice because then, at least from the cards that you're seeing, Zachary wouldn't have any play to make until the 4th turn of the game. Now he's going to hope that at the top of his library delivers either a card drawing spell or something to sort of stem the bleeding. But, yeah, I mean, if Tyler gets to take 4 turns of actions before Zachary plays his first spell, that's
pretty
substantial advantage.
Yeah. Can you capitalize on it, though? That is the question, as turn 3 sees an attack as well as a Kaito, Bane of Nightmares, flashing in, or ninjutsuing in, sending the Siren back to hand.
That's the dream start.
Nice.
Yeah, so 1-drop into Bat into Kaito, and because you had the 1-drop, you don't even have to bounce the Bat back to your hand. So at this point, Tyler has the dream start. He's applied the pressure, and now he wants to use the Kaito card drawing, card selection ability to just find every piece of interaction that he can. That's the recipe with this Dimir deck. Get ahead, and then use your interaction to stay ahead. So he's looking for Duress, Spell Pierce, Disdainful Stroke, more Deep Cavern Bats, whatever he can get his hands on to make sure that Zachary does not either combo off or otherwise claw back into the game.
Doesn't like either of those cards. A spare copy of Kaito and a Floodpits Drowner hit the graveyard, so dig in to find as much gas as possible. Do not slow down. Go, 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 and get Zach dead as quick as possible. Oh no! Off the top, I assume. Get Lost says goodbye, Kaito. That's unfortunate.
And Tyler says, "Oh, if I had known you were going to do that, I would have surveilled the other one to the top." But it's okay. I mean, realistically, that was the best card Zachary could have there in order to allow the game to continue. However, Tyler still gets out of it in a profitable situation. He gets the big hit. He gets the card advantage from the Kaito activation. He gets the 2 maps for his troubles. So he's doing fine. He's not crying about it, but it does, give a little bit of breathing room for Zachary to say, okay, now I'll use my 4 mana cards to try to get a little bit back into this.
Nice. Oh, I like this. Making this bet huge, as there is a Shieldred revealed off the top of the library. So 3 counters on our friendly little bat, and 4 damage done there to Zachary.
For what it's worth, Tyler did take the Overlord of the Mistmoras rather than the temporary lockdown, so Zachary has the option. He could just 1-for-1 against the bat if that's what he decides is worthwhile. He could use Beza to sort of buffer the life total.
So 4 life. I assume Zachary has more cards in hand, so just an elk and some life. This bat is doing its best here.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice that Keeney faced there. Certainly a non-obvious play.
Yeah, the lockdowns face up. Meringue River region still a while away. As I assume we're seeing Shieldred now. Does he have any cards in hand? Yeah, still 2 or 3. Nice. Spyglass Siren hits the board too. Map token along with it. Things looking pretty good here so far for Tyler. And then out of nowhere, off the top rope. Oh my god. That's Abuela's music. Okay. That's to be expected as temporary lockdown takes care of the 2 small flyers, gets back the Overlord of the Mistmoors, and now Shieldred. Go on, make him draw 4 cards. Come on, do it.
Tyler does have 2, potentially 2 Death Touch attackers if he was willing to fire up the Restless Reef. The nice thing about Shieldred being able to attack into Beza, unless he expects Ifara's Dispersal to get in the mix. But yeah, I mean, a lot of nice options available to the Dimir player. Zachary having to sweat if he does choose to take any damage here, going down to 5 against the active Shieldred.
Looks like we are eyeing out that Restless Reef. Nope, something else. Floodpits Drowner, okay. Tippity tap, old Beza. Shieldred in for 4. Down to 5, down to effectively 3 on the draw step, unless he has removal before that. For mana, 1 card I can spy there for Tyler. Another Spyglass Siren, perhaps. Thinking about it. Yep, Spyglass Siren hits the board, and another map token for his troubles. He's doing a good job of keeping the pressure on. Okay. Land off the top. Courtesy of the Explorer on the map token. Let's see what Zachary can cobble together here to stay in this game number 2.
I wonder if Tyler has been successful in finding a counter spell at any point.
Yeah, I wonder.
Lots of exploring and surveilling, and he only has a couple of counter spells, but he has had ample opportunity to find one.
Yep. Okay. Zach can't find anything to deal with the pressure that Tyler had amassed there, so we're going to go to game number 3 here. How do you think? How are these players looking?
It's competitive. I mean, I mentioned I do really like Tyler's post-sideboard configuration here. the full 4 copies of Duress after sideboarding, couple well-placed permission spells, resilient threats, and ones that have been sort of hand-picked to get around the commonly played removal spells. On the other hand, Zachary's deck is really effective. It's brought him to 6-0 here. He's a highly accomplished player. He gets to go first, which is not for nothing in this case. So I would not be surprised to see either player walk away from this table at 7-0.
Well, we shall see shortly as soon as these players are done with sideboarding. But, you know, in the meantime, why not go and check out Tarkir Dragonstorm? It is available. It is awesome. There's some sweet treatments that you can get for these cards. Go to starcitygames.com/MTG-TDM to go and pick up any cards that you fancy from the set. I can tell you that it's a real nice experience opening the collector boosters, because they're all so shiny. I'm probably a dragon. You know, the one that hoards all the gold. I like my shinies.
It's piles and piles of
yeah.
collector boosters and foils.
It's my weakness. They're so nice. Boiling Dragonstorm to kick things off for Zachary after a Spyglass Siren from Tyler. So we have Omniscience in the bin. Alert, alert.
If there's a bat, then it's been the same opening every game, but alas.
Tap land.
Did not use the map, so what do you make of that?
I want to kill something. That is Clarion Conqueror though, right? So not gonna happen.
It's a surprising card to see coming off the sideboard for Zachary.
Activated abilities. Oh, okay, that's a shot of Kaito, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and also just to be a 3/3 flying, especially you put your opponent in a tough spot where, you know, my main deck is a spell-based, graveyard-based combo. You're going to bring in all your Duresses and Disdainful Strokes. Then I'm going to have this 3/3 creature that's bigger than everything. But Tyler, props. I mean, being prepared, kept the go for the throat in after sideboard, and there he's able to use it a pretty good effect.
What go for the throat is that? I don't think I've seen that one.
It's a very
it's a fancy art.
Turned the brightness all the way down on that one.
Sure did. So, Voice of Victory. Okay, so that's another nuisance on the board. Now Zachary's just bringing in all of the no, you may not cards. Or at least starting off with them.
Yeah, I think this is anticipation of Tyler going much lower on removal spells. The Voice of Victory, I mean, I don't imagine...
Oh, there it is. Let's see if he can win from this position. It's happened plenty times before. Stock up, able to dig. Everything is free now. This is what Magic would be like if you didn't have to worry about lands. You know, you just dump everything on the board. Rolling Dragonstorm. Beza on the board. Oh boy, Meringue River Regent. And here we go again. As we bounce shouldered back to hand so we don't accidentally kill ourselves if you're Zachary Keeney's seat. Another Dragonstorm.
Yeah, so I would call this a very high percentage win for Zachary on this turn. But the thing is, what's the worst case scenario? If you find all lands, you still have an Omniscience, a 6/7 Dragon, a high life total. There's really no downside, even if he has to pass the turn. So I think this is going to be Zachary advancing to 7-0. Congratulations.
Oh, my goodness. Look at that. He was stressing.
Having a laugh about, I mean... Really, like that's the dream. That's for the Omniscience deck. He got to combo off on turn 4.